Good evening. This is the video newsletter for Buy Sell Short for Thursday, January 13th. Just another fantastic day for the newsletter. What can I say? The winners just keep rolling and rolling. Doesn't really matter what the market does. And actually, like I've been saying over the last couple of weeks, perfect environment for the stocks that we are playing right now, small caps. Small up, small down. Lots of bears, lots of shorts. CNBC is bearish. Just perfect setup for small caps right now. Looking at the 15-minute chart, we had worse than expected economic data today. Jobless claims ticked up, but this market right now is just bulletproof. Market shook it off, popped, and we were just trading in a pretty nice range today. And actually, looking at the 15-minute chart, you can see we got a golden cross, uh, and we've dipped since that golden cross. And typically, when we see that happen, although it's sort of a quasi golden cross, we crossed below it a couple of days ago and just now crossed back up above it. But if we go off the trend over the last 2+ years, 150 point upside is typically what we see, and if we add 150 points, we're looking at possibly touching 12K. Now, looking at the 15-minute chart, we had a pretty steep sell-off in the last hour of the day, probably a couple of different reasons. The main one being traders were, quotation marks, worried about Intel. Oh my God, Intel is going to tank the market like it did last year. And you just had, traders booking some gains, the robots going after stops, and actually the late day sell off with Intel as the excuse was actually, a sign that Intel was probably going to beat. I even said it in the room that Intel is going to beat on its earnings report, and beat they did, and they guided revenue higher. And actually, while the market was selling off with Intel as the excuse for the sell off, Intel was flat, which means the excuse was bullshit, and they were essentially refilling inventory so they can take us higher tomorrow. As you can see on the 15-minute chart, we've got RSI about to break 50. We're going to get a positive MACD cross on the open tomorrow, and we've got stochastics also bouncing nicely. So just looking at the indicators on the 15-minute chart, we're probably looking at a retest of the highs tomorrow, in my opinion. Remember, long weekend, market is closed on Monday for Martin Luther King. So, let's see if we can bend the shorts over and have some more fun with them before the long weekend. Dow daily chart, we broke that double top as I said we were going to. Little pullback today, so what? I mean, this trend that we've seen in the market over the last, 6 weeks, perfect for what we trade. Traders, there's no need to get scared. And actually, if I was to say something about this market, this is a buy the dip market. I want to slap some of you guys upside the head right now. The strategy of buying dips is working perfectly and has worked perfectly for the last 3 weeks. And it just blows my mind that you see traders, ready to jump out a window when they see their stock dip or the market dip. Because every single time it bounces back, and your whining and complaining was for nothing. I mean, let's look at IPAS. Let me pull that up here real quick. This was a monster winner for us. We jumped into this one yesterday. Actually, let me pull back to a daily view. We jumped into this one yesterday. This is the last of the $1 tech plays. I think this one's going to 2, just like our NEI. But IPAS, monster news after hours partnership deal with Deutsche Telekom. They're going to use IPAS as their foundation for their new business mobile network. And the stock was at $1.65 in after hours. It opened at $1.42, traded down to $1.40. Just to me, that is fantastic. We jumped into it in the chat room, and the stock rebounded to 156. It's actually 158 in after hours. Stocks are doing that in this market. This is a sign of a bullish market. Dips get bought and they run higher. You have a core position, and when a stock gives you an opportunity to add on a dip, you jump in, because 9 times out of 10 in this market, they bounce back to where they were. And, this is a trend or a strategy that we're going to do until it stops working, like every other strategy. It continues to work, so we're going to keep doing it. Back to the indice charts. Actually, let's check out the SMH. SMH on fire. Intel reported earnings, as I mentioned, after hours. Perfect report. Intel is just a really, really cheap stock in my opinion, but it's a large cap, and let the funds do what they want with that stock. But SMH broke that 33.25 level, our buy trigger, and it's trading at 34 after hours. That's a 75-cent gain there in 2 days. Target $35, like I said, and if you recall, my 2011 market prediction called for 35 and 37 plus. I mean, we're almost to my first target, and we're 2 weeks into January. Can't ask for anything better than that. We got a positive MACD cross on the SMH, and volume is probably the only thing that's lacking, but volume is starting to tick higher. So tomorrow we'll probably see the shorts get bent over a little bit more, and in my opinion, this year techs are going to lead us higher. So that is why we continue to focus on what the SMH does, because that's the leadership sector in techs. US dollar, perfect. Did exactly what we wanted to. When traders were jumping out the windows early this morning before the market rallied green, it was easy. All you had to do was look at what the dollar was doing. Dollar was down 1%. Market rarely, if ever, in this environment stays red when the dollar is down, especially when the dollar's down over 0.5%. It was down 1% this morning. Nice little breakdown on the dollar. Let's see what happens at this 78.80 level. If we get a break of that, voop, all the way down to 76 is probably what we're looking at, and that'll be the fuel for a continued rally. Now, what we're probably looking at, I believe the next Fed meeting is in 2 weeks' time. I'd have to check to make sure, but we're probably likely to see this market continue to move into that Fed meeting. Anyway, let's jump into stock plays. Just monsters galore. I'm probably going to miss them. I could spend 15 minutes talking about all the winners we've had over the last couple of days. BIOD, this was one of the stocks in the popper scanner I sent out to you last night. We jumped into this one on the 204 break this morning, 201, 204. Our target, this was a rule of two play, the rule of two strategy. So we were only looking for 220. Stock went to 260. I believe it's actually trading high. Actually, no, it went to 270 plus, and it's trading higher in after hours. Monster winner. We left a bunch of profits on the table, but so what? We got a fat gain out of this one. In less than an hour, we got a 25% move. Can't argue with that. BNVI. This was one we jumped into late in the day, 111-ish area. Our target on this one was 130, and then 145, and then possibly 169. The 200-day moving average. Stock went kaboom when it broke that 50-day moving average at 119 and just off to the races. 30% gain in an hour on this one. I mean, just a fantastic market for stock pickers, which is why we are doing really, really well right now. Positive MACD cross. Will the chart have some continuation? Yeah, it might, but we got a fat little gain out of it, and we'll see if it dips back to 120. We can look to add a scalp position on this one. Now, another one in the same breath as this is ICGN. This one was locked and loaded and ready to go. It's a low-flow biotech. We played it many, many times before. For some reason, there was a short trapped on this biotech stock. You see this print here at $1.70? Bullshit. It happened, but it shouldn't have happened. The stock was at 210, getting ready to bust out, and then all of a sudden, a 10K block crosses at $1.70. That is a robot bullshit program going haywire. Whole idea of that is scare the traders out. They succeeded today, but the chart looks really, really nice here. And even with that low bullshit print that we see here, chart still looks good. Next 210 break on this should light this one up, and target would be, let's aim high. The 200-day moving average at 270. It's a low flow bio. If this one gets news, 270 will be a distant memory. Small play, low float, with chart plays doing very well. Nice one to keep an eye on. CXZ. This is another stock that was in the popper scanner last night. We jumped into this one as a trade. Right now, this is the cheapest uranium stock that's out there. 80 million market cap. Doesn't sound like it's cheap, but when you've got others like URG, UREE, or URRE, trading at 300 million, 500 million market caps, uranium stocks, and a nice little chart like this, and a much lower float after the reverse split it did there last month. Nice little setup here. Next break at 240, and we could see this one making a move on the 275 area. Stops if you're playing it, 20-day exponential 203, but probably 210 is the area we'd want to see it. Volume's very, very healthy here, and I really like seeing support bounces, especially on stochastics, and this one's coil, and you can see from the volume, they're coming into this one in a big way over the last couple of days, and the ADX is just rock solid. So, the indicators on this chart and the setup say all systems go for a little run on this one tomorrow. Quick mention on WZE. This is another stock. We were playing this stock for Macworld, for a run into Macworld. After we jumped into this stock, the Apple move to Verizon news sort of appeared. So that was just a secondary bonus reason to be in WZE. Those traders who sold out of that news because it really didn't pop, it was down at 28 cents yesterday. 34 cents in after hours. I keep pounding into your guys' head. Dips are to be bought in a lot of these stocks. And, how many trades have we done recently that have not worked out? Even the ones that we've sold, regrettably, ended up running. I mean, look what COOL did. We were pretty cautious on this one. This one ended up being a flipping 50% move for us, even though we were being a little bit cautious on it. Stocks are doing fantastic in this market. New trading alert today. VLNC, Valence Technologies, got a fat little breakout on volume to 184, but it got trapped up with, day traders exiting and robots going after stops going into the last hour. But this is the next battery type stock. Reminds me of ACPW or FCEL. This one's got $2 written all over it. If not tomorrow, early next week. Supports on this one, $1.69, riding that 20-day exponential higher as well, but should get a positive MACD cross on this one tomorrow, which should add fuel to the fire. DEJ, small oil play, still working off those financer shorts, 38 cents, lights this one up. We're just going to sit patiently in it. It will break out. Same note with QTWW. This one was ready to rock and roll yesterday. We had some traders throw in the towel today, and the robots go after it. 44, 43 cent stops on this one. We're just going to sit and wait. Look what PLUG has done over the last few days. This was a January popper play we called at 37 cents in December. Look what it's done. It's up 90%, and this is a turd, just like QTWW. Every turd has its day. QTWW, it will have its day too. BCON, love the setup here. Resting on the chart. All we need is a piece of news on their power plant going live, and it'll be off to the races on this one as well. SBSA. So far, so good from our alert a couple of weeks ago, but look at the move its peers have done over the last few days. EMMS exploded into the close today and is just rocking towards that 200-day moving average up at 150. A $1.10 break on SBSA, which I think will happen tomorrow, and we're looking at a really fast move to $1.30 here. Love the setup here. Stops 95 cents, and ROIAK, EMMS, all on fire. There are very few radio stocks left in this price range. Actually, there's one. SBSA. That's why we're in it. PRKR. Over the last 2 days, volume has exploded. We got a breakout today at 55 cents. Boom, all the way up there to 63 cents at the close. Target here is 70 plus. Just based on this volume over the last couple of days, I think that news that we've been waiting for is about ready to hit. News always gets leaked to the funds, and they've been coming in. That's the volume that we've seen here, because PRKR hasn't been mentioned anywhere in the last couple of days, and there's been some serious buying in it. So I'm thinking we've got a news release coming, and if the news is as good as we think it is, we could be looking at a 50% plus mover here. So that's it for the video. I'm sure, actually I did miss a play. Let me pull that one up. How could I forget about Joe's Jeans? Just a nice setup here. We jumped into this one. We got our break and close above the 50-day moving average. This is the first time we've had a close above the 50-day since the sell-off back there in October. Perfect January popper setup. $1.70 lights this baby up, and we're looking at 185 $2 potential, and this will be another rule of two stock very, very soon. Volume was really, really healthy. We got RSI popping, stochastics also looking good. On bounce volume, ADX is very strong. This one is rocking and rolling and should be very, very nice for us over the next few days. So that's pretty much it for the video tonight. We'll be sending out tonight's popper list. And, just for you guys who aren't familiar with it, the popper list is an added benefit for you guys. I use it to call plays. It's my way of weeding out the best stocks in the market. And I'm giving it to you guys so you can do some research by yourself. Play some of the ones we don't play, but there's been some very nice winners off it this week. And, even if you don't trade them, it'll help narrow down candidates for you, and it's a great way of learning how to find stocks before they break out. So if you've got any questions, you can shoot me an email or just hit me up in the chat room tomorrow, and I will see you guys in there tomorrow. Good night.